Then we have, I was going to talk about this today, but there's not really much to talk about. It looked like the scorned lover, who seems to be still very much obsessed with the one that got away, Mr. Narc Injury himself, had his little settlement deal today. And something got up. Sounded like it was ready to go. Sounded like it was all signed, sealed, delivered. He was like, I'm about to do something that's against everything in my being. It's like, shut up, Bill Pullman, and Independence Day, and go plead to your drug problem, you retard. And he's like, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not. You're a druggie who's pleading guilty. Go do your druggie plea. We got it, Henry V. Once more into the breach, ye men, ye merry band of brothers. Shut up, cokehead, and go say guilty. So he kind of did the Jordan Belfort thing, where he's going, he's doing the, I'm going to plead, I'm going to, do this, I'm going to do that. Kloppo Graham says Aaron was watching NLO. No, I read Kiwi Farms, as you know. So he's going to do the Jordan Belfort thing where he's going to step down from Stratton Oakmont. And he couldn't help but do the, I'm not leaving. Now, nobody knows what's going on. This is why we're not going to spend a lot of time on it today. I'm not going to speculate. I've been reading people speculating on this all day, and it gets kind of cringe because none of us know what the fuck is going on. For all we know, there's just little tiny items that need to be ironed out. I mean, it's a lot of charges, and they're very serious charges, and you got to figure out if they're going to agree or if they're going to pull it off the table. It's all kinds of shit that's probably going on. So I'm going to Occam's razor the damn thing, and I'm just going to say that the easiest explanation is probably the best one, and that he probably went in there fully ready to bend over, grab his ankles, and take the big judicial dick up the ass. But they just, a little tweak here and a little tweak there, and they'll get it. I'm sure they'll get it figured out in December. That's what I think. I think, you know what? They ran out of paper, essentially. Speaking of Bish, we got to talk about the Ethan Ralph thing. You're going to hate me for this, but I will say that I feel bad for Ethan Ralph. Is that bad? Like, I know people, I can hear booing in my headphones. Just, what do you call it? Not telekinetically. What's the thing where you can talk to each other? Telepathically. Telepathically, I can hear people booing. But I read this letter that Ethan Ralph wrote to the judge here in Stearns County, Minnesota. And it was about his contempt of court. Now, you'll remember Ethan Ralph, not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree. And he thought that I had put a contempt of court charge on him. Now, Rage Pig doesn't understand that I cannot press a contempt of court charge. I didn't even give the judge a name. As a matter of fact, I thought it was somebody else. When they came to me and they said, do you know who live streamed the thing? And I'm like, no, the only guy I can think that did a video on it was this guy, and it wasn't Ethan Ralph. So they found out on their own. But he wrote a letter, and this actually made me feel bad. I felt bad for Ethan Ralph because I'm a father, so that's a good way to tug at my heartstrings, unless you're an absolute piece of shit parent. I don't know Ethan's relationship with his children. I don't get that deep into internet bullshit. I'm not a crazy onion person. I don't get that deep. I know Ethan Ralph from falling down, being drunk, being on pills, and being weird on his streams. Embarrassing himself, basically. That's and getting beat up in Portugal and fighting with some guy in a house, like a real redneck kind of a thing going on. Well, he wrote this letter to the judge, and you guys can tell me if I'm being a fool, but I actually felt bad for the guy. It might be a little hard for you guys to read. It's just a clip on Twitter here. Yeah, it doesn't change with the Zoom. This is where Apple might be a little superior to Windows. To your honor and honorable court. This is from Ethan. This was filed yesterday. My name is Ethan Ralph. I have a nationwide warrant out in your jurisdiction for contempt of court. I live in Mexico. I go visit my son monthly in California. I cannot visit him for Christmas with this warrant outstanding. Well, no, that's not true. You absolutely could go visit him for Christmas with this warrant outstanding. You could enter the country, head to Minnesota, turn yourself in. You could do this tomorrow. You could turn yourself in tomorrow, or maybe they'd catch you at the border. They'd send people down. They'd come get you. They'd take you back to Minnesota. You'd go through this contempt of court thing, and then you're free and clear. And you can go back to, because contempt of court is probably going to be a fine. I think it's like a ticket, isn't it? Could be wrong. But you could go, you could pay that, you could be done with it, and you could move on with your life. I go visit my son monthly in California. I cannot visit him for Christmas with this warrant outstanding. Now, this is where a man takes care of business, is accountable for what he's done, and addresses it and handles it. He doesn't whine and beg. I cannot visit him for Christmas with this warrant outstanding, since I could be detained at the border. He probably would be detained at the border. Yeah, actually, you know what? Pretend you're a Nigerian or a Chinese national. They'll just let you walk through. I cannot simply fly there and be arrested in St. Paul, since I have cats and a household to maintain here in Mexico. Ethan, look, baby. Look, sweetie pie. If your son is that important to you, break your cat's fucking neck and throw him in the garbage. It's a fucking cat. Who gives a shit? There's probably one on every fucking street corner in the neighborhood you live in. Grab a stray, bring it in. Cats are not real pets. Cats are the most expendable animal I can think of. More so than rats, really. But he has a cat. Look, I really would take care of this contempt of court thing so I could see my son again for the holidays, but my cat. Isn't the exchange rate really good down there? Can't you just find some poor Mexican to feed your cat every once in a while? Aren't cats like the most self-sufficient animals there are? So he's got a cat, and basically this warrant has locked me in Mexico until I can get it quashed. Don't use the word quashed in a legal thing. Well, anyway, I was hopeful that you could quash, enough with the quashing, the arrest warrant and allow me to appear to the hearing on the matter via Zoom. I'm not trying to dodge court proceedings or escape any kind of resolution here. I will definitely attend the hearing and proceed from there, accepting whatever your judgment there is, etc. He phrased that wrong. I hope you can see the uniqueness of my situation. I'm sure a judge hears bitching and whining and excuses like this all the time. I don't think there's a uniqueness. And thus be willing to accommodate my request. And then he sends out a bunch of places and things he can be contacted at. Look, when I saw this, I did feel bad for the guy. I did. I feel like, they should almost let him do this via Zoom, right? Because it's contempt of court. He could appear via Zoom. They could tell him to pay a fine. If he doesn't pay the fine, then you can have the nationwide arrest warrant because he's dodging his responsibilities, whatever, and then you can still pick him up. I think doing this via Zoom would be okay. I think the court wanted to teach a lesson here that no matter where you are on earth, we'll get you for this. And I commend them for that. But, I don't know if they caught me on a weird day or what. But I feel like his request is reasonable. I feel like it could be done. Sam Show says this is going to age so poorly. Is it really? Is this going to be bad? See, again, I don't know a lot about Ethan Ralph. I don't pretend to know a lot of the lore. So I don't know. I just read this one thing and I'm like, well, he wants to see his son. That's big. He gave the judge an alternative resolution to this. That seems reasonable.